Hello guys, welcome to episode 22 or 23 of Air Tycoon Online 3. It's been a lot of episodes. I think I missed an episode yesterday. I didn't upload one. Unfortunately, I just didn't really feel like it, so I didn't bother. Sorry about that, guys, but you guys know me. I'm inconsistent with my uploads. Anyways, roughly speaking, my company's not doing great. I know 750k looks great, but if you look back a bit, you can see I've had some real struggles actually to be profitable. This was just a failed experiment. Ignore these two profit reports. But other than that, it's not doing great. Like if I go quarterly, this is the best quarter I've ever had. But generally speaking, I haven't improved much since these quarters here. I think 1.7. This quarter is only 1.9. So I haven't improved very much for a long time. Basically, if I go yearly, you can see I'm down on the yearly, which probably shouldn't be the case, even if I am messing around a little bit. As you can see, I've even been overtaken by my friend, even though me and my friend are closing in on number one, which is pretty nice. He's actually doing a really good job. His company is very, very efficient. Like, he basically doesn't even have a lot of time to play, but when he does, he spends his time micromanaging all the routes. And basically what's that ended up with is every single I think he's still going with deleting every competition route. I think he deletes almost every competition route except for against certain companies which he doesn't like. But basically what that does is his company is actually more efficient than mine. His profit margin is around, I don't know, like 33% ish. So if he makes if he has a net if he has an income of $1, he makes like 33% of it, so he makes 33 cents for every dollar he makes, basically. But just because his expenses are low, where mine is not so high. Mine is, I don't know, what is that difference? Pretty small, you know what I mean? Like, I'm probably less than 20% margin, so his company's actually doing a lot better than mine. He does have far, far less leases. He's been buying his planes outright, which, makes sense. But it just shows a difference in strategy to achieve basically the same thing. Because if you take a look at it, we are basically the same value. Like, also, he has a higher percentage of stopover routes, which I think helps him too. Like, I told him very early on in this game to only make stopover routes, yet he's following that rule to a better extent than me, basically. And it's not that I don't want stopover routes or don't recommend stopover routes or don't think stopover routes are the number one way to play the game. I've just been struggling, like the way I like to play, right? Is I don't find it fun to do one thing and micro it. I like to go on a really big scale, basically, and try and get as much of that thing correct as possible. So basically, unlike my friend, I like to go with a massive scale, and I like to see, just how much can of like this can I manage to do, basically. So how much um, I'm really trying to test how much I can actually how many routes I can make, because that's just what I find fun. I find the creation of routes fun. I don't really find slowly, meticulously putting together a slightly smaller number but more profitable routes. I don't really find that fun. Which is why I don't make a similar company to his with low amount of leases and a high amount of outright owned aircraft and a high amount of making sure you have the best routes all the time, basically. I don't enjoy playing like that, but I play in a different way, which is where you just take every route you find, um, but you ignore the really good routes, like except for fun. Like as you can see, my very good routes are making a lot of money. Chicago to Guangzhou up there with pulling in almost 11K on one aircraft. So that's pretty cool, you know what I mean? But like besides that, anyways, now that I've rambled on for a long time, I actually have a final exam today, and I should be studying, but I'm just taking a break. So doing a quick recording is I think we should have just unlocked Singapore. Yes. So let's open Singapore as a hub and then reduce the invest to 0, and let's find a new city to invest in. Um, Not sure where yet, but I am needing of some more cities. I'm thinking Tokyo because it looks borderline abandoned. Like, look at this. Like, it's just no competition. So Yeah, maybe I'm gonna consider Tokyo. Let's see. I don't really like using Asian cities that much because I do find it hard to find adequate numbers of stopover routes. But Tokyo might be an exception because it's close to the coast of the United States, close enough to do stopovers with Trans-Pacific and then to Europe. So maybe I will um, invest in Tokyo. So let's see if I can find Tokyo. Mm, this is gonna be a struggle. I have to find Tokyo in this mess. Mm, so S. Okay, it's going backwards. T. Okay. T O. T O. Where is it? There it is. Let's max out our investment in Tokyo. I'll have to make a route to Tokyo first. All right, we'll find a way to make a route to Tokyo. But I guess for now we'll just start opening routes to Singapore now. Singapore is what I would call mediocre. It's not great, but it's not bad. But let's see, Hamburg to Tokyo or to Singapore. That's a good route. Um, I could make that direct, but we'll just do a short stopover. So we'll stop over to some closer city like Darwin. Um, that means the long leg will take, the majority of the weight of the route. So we'll make majority of the profit. So even if the other side is not that great of a route, shouldn't be a problem basically. That's the idea behind a route with such a long leg and then such a short leg in comparison. So let's make this route, yeah, just some typical services. Let's see, what else can I make to using Singapore? Tripoli? Tripoli is too far, once again, to use anything but a DC 1030, which, as you can see, I am ordering, but do not have right now. So let me try something like Baghdad to Singapore, and then we can do a stopover to Jakarta. Wow. Um, Tokyo to Jakarta is a good route, but let's see if I can go upward, actually. You see that angle? I'm pretty sure I can stop over upwards to something like Fukuoka and Hiroshima. Wow. That's not bad. That's a good route for me to use I have some DC 1040s. I bought them basically because they're slightly more efficient 1030s, and I'm going to use them to replace um, some medium range aircraft, basically. Not medium, but long range aircraft, but not that long, like DC 11s and shit like that. Yeah, I'm starting to think about replacing my DC 862 fleet. Basically, I have a lot of cash, right? And I basically want all that cash to be working for me as much of the time as possible. So, yeah, basically because I want all that cash working for me most of the time, I'm just thinking of ways which I can basically use all of it, and I'm like, buying DC8's no longer really gonna cut it. Um, it's gonna take too long per DC8, so like it's gonna take too long to make all my routes using DC8. So let's move on to something a little bit more good. So Christchurch is a bit too far. I could do Beijing to Johor Bahru. That's a good route. To Beijing. Just do a stopover. And there's not many cities left in Europe to use, but I think I can find one at least. I see Belgrade immediately, but unfortunately I have no slots there, so let's do a request. But I want to make this route, so... Ooh, some lag. Unusual. I have a pretty fast internet connection. Um, do I see anything? I don't see very much. The number one player is actually hubbed in here. We're gonna... me and my friend are obviously gonna pass the number one player soon, but um, it's just pretty interesting that he's actually pretty thorough. He understands all his routes and stuff like that. Oh, I wonder if that route I found yesterday is still available. I needed a Boeing 747 dash 200 for it, and let me see if I probably have one Boeing 747 dash 200, which doesn't have great occupancy. I can probably just switch that to a different plane and then get that 747-200, because that I found a really good route. I think it was Chicago to Dubai, to Sydney or something like that. I'm not sure if that route would still be available, but I have a world with an actually good World Traveler Index, so Dubai is like huge, basically. So Dubai to Sydney is still there, and Dubai to Chicago is still there. So I can still make that route if I can free up one of my 747-200s. Are any of these not that nice? Um, I know this one's overlapped, but it's still making good money, so... Like, how are these ones doing? It's making 8K on just the first leg. That's ridiculous. And that leg is making nothing, apparently. Um, why is that? Cairo to Doha. I guess Doha is just terrible, but or Cairo is just terrible. Los Angeles to Istanbul, it's doing great. Istanbul to Shenzhen is doing great as well, so not bad. Um, Orlando to Beijing, that's doing great, nice. And Beijing to Johannesburg, it's also doing great. That's a really good route. That plane's making like 13K. That's unbelievable. So this is by far the worst one. So I think I'm gonna close it. Um, yeah, we'll just close that, and I'll either make that into a stopover route, or I will yeah, I want more 747-200s. They are fucking amazing. Holy crap. But yeah, so this route is a route which should, in theory, be able to max out nearly any plane. It's just such a good route. Yeah, like this is an A380 kind of route in the future. I'll put like A380 on this route, and it will make like 20K. Like, oh, it's gonna be great. I can't wait. Yeah, both legs of the route are amazing too, which is unusual. Both legs are extremely high range, and I still get 3 schedules a week. So that's going to be probably my most profitable single airplane. Um, so yeah, that's nice. Like one airplane making 10K. I guess that is how my friend is more profitable than me. If each one of his airplanes is netting like about 10K, then of course he's going to be doing better than me, especially with my leased 747s. If they aren't doing well, they're going to cause a lot of loss, but they do appear to mostly be doing well. Like, I have legs like this which aren't doing great. How's like the opposite leg to this? Like, I have a lot of mediocre routes with 747s. Let me check. Yeah, 97. Like, of course there's going to be some bad ones. Like Nadi to Guangzhou doesn't sound great. Yeah, it doesn't sound great, and it's not great. Oh, it's really short though. What's the other? Guangzhou to Hamburg? Oh, um, see, why is this plane making so little? It's got high prices and is decently full, but it's making no money. That's odd. That's really odd. See, how much is something like this making? I guess it's because it's leased and the lease cost is considered. Yeah, damn. Like, see, that route is, making good money at least. Much more than the lease cost and other expenses. What about something like this? Oh, the first class pricing is incorrect on some of these. So let me do something actually. Um, First, let me for first class only, I'm just gonna set the price based off of the default fare to 1.31, like this. And what's gonna happen is my profit is gonna change a bunch, but then I'll adjust it turn by turn to make it a appropriate amount later on again. So yeah, hopefully that's not a bad thing. Next thing I want to do is just keep looking routes to Singapore. I see that. Um, see stuff like that, but it's a bit too far right now. That's also a bit too far. I mean, I have no planes which are in range of most of these cities, so I could do things like Kiev and Chinsao directly with a DC-8. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Just gotta wait for the slots. What else can I do? I can look at my other hubs. How's Los Angeles doing? Los Angeles. I'm curious. I think I did this like direct with a 1030. Wow. That's insane. That's like not even fluctuating turn by turn. Um, did I make any slightly worse DC 1030 routes? Is this DC 1030? Nope, that's out of DC 1030 range, but Tripoli is not stopover capable. So I could do kind of this kind of route with a DC 1030 and it would make money, I think. Is Prague direct with a DC 1030? No. Oh, it's 747. How's the other leg? The other leg's not even bad. Wow. That's insane. I'm really starting to think that it's just the sum of the routes which is important, which makes stuff like LA just unbelievably overpowered. Like, how much is this? This is probably a DC8. Yeah, DC8 completely full, of course. Um, I want to see more 10. Is this a 1030? Yeah, it's a 1030. And look at that. Even though the satisfaction is bad, that's insane profit. Like, you have to keep that. Like, for that route, the satisfaction is fucked up. That's amazing. Okay, let me make a route to Singapore to fix this problem. So let's go Hiroshima to Singapore and then stop over and try and get somewhere good. Tehran, Malton. Oh, that's too short. Oh well. Where else can we go? Looks like too far. I'm trying to find a decent city. I like Kiev. Nope, not proper. Chinso, not proper. How far south do I have to go before this is a proper stopover route? Somewhere around here. All right. Then it gives us this option. I think that's the only option. Uh, Maybe like Abu Dhabi and stuff like that is available, but it doesn't look like it. So yeah, it's a pretty good route. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. And of course, waiting for loading, but yeah, just DC 1040. Yeah, the DC 1040 appears to be and 1030 appear to be great aircraft. So I think virtually, I want to say every single route I have is capable of supporting a DC 1030. Like Boeing 747s, certain routes it appears to not be good, especially because the Boeing 747s are leased, so they have to make like 4 million more a month, basically, in order to be self-sustaining to be profitable. But the smaller routes, I don't think that should be nearly as much of an issue, which is really nice. Um, how else can I use these Japanese cities? Like, I have Fukuoka still, so I have to use that event. Let's see if I can find a way to use it. Fukuoka to Singapore. I could go this way, maybe? To Adelaide? No, too short. So I have to go this way, but it has to be something pretty far south. So is Abu Dhabi an option? I think it is. Okay, Abu Dhabi is an option. I don't think any of those cities are as big as Abu Dhabi. Addis Ababa, nope. Looks like we are using Abu Dhabi. So that's another good stopover actually. Just around 10,000 range, and pretty decent altogether. Another thing I could do is wait for the 767s actually to start replacing my like leased DC8s and stuff like that. Mainly at this point, like the lease expense is like is basically negligible, and another thing with leases is um they're basically no longer worth it. They're worth it when you don't have enough cash to buy airplanes, but now I have more cash than I can buy airplanes. So the opposite of what was initially true is now true. Now I need to start getting rid of my starting I need to start to get rid of my leased aircraft basically. Like of course there's still no way I could afford, 100 747s. Like that is absolutely insane. So basically I have to buy those 100 747s eventually. But just not soon, you know what I mean? So one thing I'm gonna do right now is I need to do this more often actually. Is I'm gonna go first class. If you're full, get increased a percent. If you're business class, if you're full, get increased by percent. If you're economy class and you're full, you get your price increased by percent. All right. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to say if you're 96 and below, I want the price to decrease by a single percent. And if you're 90 and below, I want your price decreased by another percent. If you're below 82, I want your price decreased by another percent. And I'm just going to basically repeat that for all the classes because I want to do this class specifically. Like obviously I don't want to, be hitting my like first class when it's not the problem basically. So if my first class is not 100%, then decrease a little bit. If it's not pretty high, decrease a little bit more. And this is just something which basically if you keep doing it enough, eventually your prices will be ideal. So for example, for Los Angeles to Cairo, everything was full except why did first get an overall price decrease? Oh, because I hard set everything to a set price. So besides the first class, you can see how like routes which are full are getting an price increase, and routes which are not full in general have a price decrease. So for economy class decreased, first class untouched, um, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's how did that end up as 1.38 if I set everything to a flat rate? I don't know. That's really odd. Okay, well, whatever. Anyways, basically I have to wait for more slots now and more airplanes, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm back now. These slot requests and stuff should be finishing up as soon as the game decides to update. Yep, there we go. And let's quickly just, order some new aircraft. Some 747-200. Let me order, let's say 5 of these. I think that should be pretty good. Ooh, that's expensive. Let's order 4. And let's order some DC-1030s. And let's order that many, sure. Alright. Let's go back to Singapore where we were. And let's keep making some routes, alright? So, what do we have? I see we have... Ooh, was that not there before? Okay, no, it was there before. I guess I didn't notice. But we have both Liverpool and Manchester. We have Stockholm. And we have St. Petersburg. As well as Tripoli. Now, Tripoli is the best one, so let's do Tripoli first. Wow, Tripoli is actually not even taken to cities like Tokyo. That's pretty insane. But you can do something like this. Stopover. Like a route like that is pretty decent because we still get 5 schedules a week. We get a secondary route to make it a stopover, so it's all good. And we get, of course, a full DC 1030. Now, I'm thinking that I probably could make these routes direct, but why not make them stopovers? This means in the future I could probably, put 747 type aircraft on this route. 747 777s probably. I'll probably make my fleet majority 777s later on. Yeah. You guys know I usually use much smaller aircraft than 777s and such, but unlike all those worlds where I usually find me using 777s and 767s, this world has a higher world traveler index than almost any other world I've played already, which is sad. It's 1974, and it's got one of the better world traveler indexes I have ever seen. So basically, that allows me to pretty comfortably make a lot of good routes basically, and make a lot of great use a lot of great airplanes on those routes. Like usually you don't see me using 747s very much, and you don't see me using what other airplanes have I been using. You don't see me buying so many large aircraft, and I'm just spamming DC-8s, DC-8s, DC-8s until the end of their life. But I don't have a problem where I have to do that in this world just because the routes are just so good. Like with the level of cities I have available to me, and like having Singapore, be 850, and like for example, LA to anything being a route which works. Like look at this. Look at this city, Puerto Montt. Have you ever heard of this city? Probably not. 747 stopover route. It's making like 5K. This is a lease. Look at the prices. Like it's insane. Like a route like this, 747. It's fine. A route like this, probably a 747 too. What did I tell you? Is it full? Of course it is. Like insane. Like just this random ass city you've never heard of. It's full almost all the time. Yeah, the net profit drops, but like damn. Like damn. Uh so what do we have available? Is this in range? No. Is this in range? That is in range. Let's do that. It's direct. Who cares? Like, there's nothing to stop over to on the other side. It's just the Pacific Ocean, so not really a lot of options there. Just direct. But even direct flights are fine to LA. It seems like I know it breaks my rule of stopovers only, but if there's no other routes to take at the time, then why not? Why not make a direct flight? Um, the stopover only is, probably like, yes, it's a fantastic rule to follow, but if it's not possible to follow, then, well, you still want to play the game, right? You don't want to sit around and wait, I guess, for new planes or something to come out. If you really want to play it, and you just want to, in this game, the hubs take so long to unlock new ones, and you just don't want to wait for that, then instead of trying to force yourself into making stopovers. Just make the routes. I mean, making a route which is positive, um, which has like a pretty significant profit anyway, is still fine. Like, so yeah, basically, I have a slight change of heart, towards my only stopovers rule. But anyways, as you can see, I'm not able to find too many great routes. Maybe it's time to make some stopover routes with some DC 1030s. Let's see if I can do anything like this, and then stop over to something in Europe. I can make a route like that. That's probably a good route. That one's a good route. See if there's any other cities in South America which will allow me to use routes like that. Actually, back. Okay, let's cancel this and let's use something as far south as possible. And I say that because if we use something farther south, like right now, due to the location on the continent of the cities I'm trying to connect to, basically, um, it'll allow me to do any route. But when I start to move cities farther north on the continent of South America, it'll start to tell me that the stopover route is improper. So I need to connect that to more northerly cities. Basically, that stupid right angle rule for stopover routes. It's not really stupid. It makes sense, but like, yeah, basically, if I'm trying to use these cities for stopover routes, it's a little bit tougher. So I need to save the northerly cities in Europe to make those possible. Like, can I do this kind of thing? I can. But I'm sad I never thought of that before, because these are great routes. So let's take all of these. Take all of them. Take all of them, guys. Another thing I need to fix is my airports. A lot of my airports have the problem where I need more service. I need more slots and I need more counters and stuff like that, but it just takes so long to go through all of them and get them replaced. Let me show you. Uh, like, that's not even bad. It's a pretty small list of things to do, but doing them is annoying nevertheless. How's LA doing? I still have some slots left in LA, so that's very nice indeed. Let's request some more slots. Yeah, it seems that with 3,600 sized airports, it actually really does a pretty good job at fixing the not. I guess it's yeah. I'll call it an issue where um all the cities run out of slots. Like it seems that there's actually enough slots to kind of support the demand of all the players. Like I don't think any airport will ever be 100% full, maybe with the exception of London. Maybe London will eventually just, all three airports will be full, but I don't even see that happening. Like there's continuously space emptying up in either of the two airports, which are close to full right now. And for example, a city similar to London in location, Paris, was just a little bit smaller. Its second airport's not even filling up yet. Like, same with New York, second airport not really even bothering to be like full. Well, of course, the airport's not the one making the decisions, but you know what I mean. Um, Chicago. Is there any way I can use Chicago? Interestingly, can I reach Osaka? What? I can reach Osaka? Should I make that route direct? Or can I stop over to somewhere? Interesting, interesting. Can I do Osaka to Chicago to somewhere? I can't believe that route's not taken. That's a surprise. Osaka to Chicago, and we can stop in like Cleveland. If I could find anything slightly farther away, I'd prefer it, but that works. That's a good route, especially if this still gives me 5 schedules a week. Yes, it does. So that's a great route, to be honest. I'm surprised I never noticed that was available, or somebody has left. One or the other has happened. So, this route is too close to give, full service. So let's just go with something like this, 69%. Should be pretty good. Let's see, what else? Is there anything else I can find to Chicago? Which I'm surprised it's not taken. Well, Busan is just out of range. Hiroshima is not out of range. Let's go Hiroshima to Chicago to somewhere. Let's do it. Hiroshima to Chicago. Let's see, any cities around here? Springfield? Hey, not bad, not bad. So basically, we're putting all the weight on Chicago to Hiroshima, and then Springfield section is there to basically make an extra amount of money. I'm curious, actually. If I do this direct, is it going to be six schedules a week? Or still 5? Yeah, still 5. You see what I mean? So that means if I'm doing a stopover like this, the Springfield route is literally for free. It's not costing me anything. Whatever the Springfield route makes is just free cash, basically. There's almost no other way to describe it. Like, it's just free money over what I'd usually be making, which is really nice. That's really nice indeed. Like, that's probably gonna make like 2K a month or something like that. Very decent, very decent. Well, I really enjoy the DC 1030. It's such a great plane. All right, what else? What else can we do? Daegu is just out of range. Shenyang and Harbin, these are decent cities, but are they worth it? Shenyang, let's do Shenyang. That's pretty good. Shenyang to Chicago. Whoops. Shenyang to Chicago. Order more slots in the Chicago's main airport. Stopover. Anything around here? Columbus? I see Columbus. If I do Hamilton, it'll drop to 4 schedules a week, so I would prefer this. I'm not sure if that, Shenyang to Chicago leg will be full, but I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm not too cautious. So let's make this route up. Good, good, good. And as you can see, I'm now basically out of usable airplanes. So I'm going to wait for these slot requests and these plane requests to finish up again, and then I'll probably be back. This is a long episode, by the way. Alright, I am back now. It's been a while, actually. So yeah, I have some 747s. Don't know what I'm going to use them for, but no, take a look. Take a look if we can find any nice routes. So that's obviously out of range. We can find Los Angeles to anything, because Los Angeles to anything seems to be like beautiful. You know what I mean? So you can do Los Angeles to Shenzhen, but Shenzhen's not great, so I'm not gonna do that directly. I would have to stop over to something else to make me feel like that's worth it. Maybe Lagos? Maybe Lagos? Maybe Lagos? I don't know. Let me see if I can find anything better before I settle on that kind of route. Now, I only have so many cities to work with. I think I got like Chicago. Chicago to Taipei looks pretty good. Taipei, yeah, it's not great. I would need something on the other side to stop over to, and there's nothing. So maybe I shouldn't have bought so many. Maybe I shouldn't have bought so many 747s. Maybe I won't be able to find a use. Maybe I could like go from some of my Asian hubs, like Beijing. So I see I have Beijing to Miami. Is Miami stopover enabled? Yes, it is. So I could do Beijing to Miami to somewhere. Now I would usually do Sao Paulo, but that's obviously taken. And there's nowhere in Europe which I really want to use. So maybe I have to go the other way around. So I have to go Miami to Beijing. Now Miami is not even great. Like, damn. It's only about the same size as Shenzhen. So I got to keep that in mind. And there's no Sydney or anything like that. So I think I used Johannesburg, and Cape Town is too far. Alright, so I guess that makes our primary forerunner Shenzhen um, to Los Angeles to somewhere. Probably Monrovia. Yeah, probably Monrovia. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and make that route. So nice. Um, very nice, very nice. 3 schedules a week. I'm sure the Shenzhen to Los Angeles leg will be doing very well in terms of occupancy, which is nice indeed. I wonder if I'm ever gonna have to. What happens for routes with ranges above 15,000 kilometers? What happens to the services? I don't know. Um, I don't think I'll ever know, but like it's just pretty interesting to think about. There are a lot of routes actually above 15,000 kilometers in range, and one of them in particular, I think this is the longest route in the game. It's one of these cities in Spain to Christchurch, New Zealand. Um, yeah, I think there's one like even 800 kilometers longer than that. It's like 19,800 range or some shit like that. It's very, very close to the diameter of the Earth, period, which is pretty cool. But I guess this game doesn't actually fail to consider that when you're at 40,000 feet or whatever freaking like flight altitude is. Basically, right, you're traveling a significant amount farther than than you'd actually think, right? Because if you're traveling at that kind of altitude, you're basically you're dealing with what's it called? There's a word for it. You're dealing with nautical miles instead of regular miles. So yeah, basically it's like quite a bit further. I'm pretty sure a nautical mile like it describes. I'm not certain on this actually. No, I'm not gonna say it because I'm not sure. But basically, I was thinking that, at an airplane when they fly higher up like that, they're actually traveling a farther distance than if they were on the ground, which is just something interesting to keep in mind when considering distances. So, anyways, see if I can find anything. So that works. Is there anything to stop over into though? No, Lagos is my number one consideration right now, but that's apparently not a proper stopover route. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I don't see why that's not a proper stopover route. So that's the proper. Okay, I think I'm getting too close to the original city. I have to find something in here which I want to connect it to. Tripoli? No, it's not a proper stopover route. Maybe I can find something real close. Miami, Charlotte, Philadelphia, Detroit, Toronto, Boston, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. I don't see anything good. That's annoying. Does Kraskis have an airport yet? Nope. Maybe I can find something to Sydney. Sydney to Chicago. That's a bit far. Maybe what else was there? There was Chicago to things like Chengdu. Maybe we could go like Chicago to Chengdu to somewhere. Yeah, as you can see, it takes a long time to make some of these stopover routes, but this video is already like 40 minutes long, so I think I'm probably gonna cut it here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.